I'm trying to find us. Okay.
Okay, great. We're live.
Hi.
Yay.
Hi.
Good.
Right. Welcome to the Virgin Author Show. We are three friends bonded by our love of writing, struggling to navigate the publishing world. My name is Mandy McGuire, and I am a Virgin Author.
Hi, I'm Lissa Reese, and I am a virgin author.
Well, hi guys, and I'm Jana Vandelar, and I'd like to introduce our guest. It's Megan. You know what? I forgot to ask. Tady?
Tady, yes,
Tady.
long A,
Okay.
rhymes with lady.
Tady, like lady. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. So nice to officially meet you, Megan. She's a writer and an editor running the company WordLift. Her writing has appeared in the Huffington Post and Ms. magazine, among others. Super Bloom, her debut novel, will be published on May 2nd this year, 2023, by Zibby Books. She's working on her second novel, Champions for Breakfast, publishing in 2024. Busy girl. Also via Zibby Books. And Megan lives in Western Massachusetts with her family. So welcome to the show, Megan.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here.
Oh, we're so thrilled. Have you been tons of snow out there?
No. It's all melted. We're like heading into spring, and that's feeling really great. I'm ready.
Great.
Are you
Really
just,
good for you.
are you just starting out your book tour? Is it all virtual or?
Yeah, so I'm just starting out. So you're, I think, my second or third podcast. So I'm still a little green. And then I'll do, some in-person events that will start later in the month and then through May, which is so exciting.
Yay.
Very
All right.
Really exciting.
I want to get right down to the secret of your success, Meg, because your novel is going to come out in less than a month now, right? Is it May 2nd? And you have already signed your second book deal with Zibby Books. And it's not even, okay, how did you do it? Was it a 2-book deal in the first place, or did they just love you so much that they asked for more?
I just got really lucky with them. And first of all, it sounds like I just am an overnight success, but it took me 8 years with Super Bloom, my first novel. It took a really long time to get an agent and to get a book deal. So now that this is all happening, it's so surreal. And yes, they signed Super Bloom, and my editor and Zibby and the team were like, what else do you have in store? And they only do 12 books a year, and they wanted to see those first 50 pages that I had for my next book. So my agent and I sold on a partial, which was just such a dream.
Yes.
And I'm working away.
Too, right?
It's fiction as well. Yeah,
that's not normal at all for fiction usually. I mean, I guess if you've already been with the publisher, probably, I guess
a little more common, but it's the first time I've ever worked under a contract, where I have these deadlines now. So that's new. And there's some pluses and minuses, to that. It's amazing to have a team and people to bounce ideas off of. At the same time, I've never had this this deadline that I've got to meet. So that's kind of tricky.
Hard deadline with a publication date already announced. Wow.
It is.
But first of all, congratulations, because that is really an astonishing accomplishment.
And I'm not surprised. The book is great. I mean, the Super Bloom is great. So, I mean, which kind of segues into it. Tell us about it. I mean, we know because we got to read it. So.
We're lucky enough. We've read it.
It's so good, everybody. You guys have got to read it. So go ahead.
Thank you. So Super Bloom's my debut, and it's about a massage therapist in Vermont. She's about to get fired from her job, and she's grieving the loss of her love, Samuel, who died only 6 months into their, sort of epic love story. But it was 2 years ago, and she's having a hard time moving on. And she works at this luxury spa, and she's just botching her job. She's going to get fired, but she has one chance to save her job, which is to get a glowing review from the most demanding client, famous romance novelist Carmen Bronze. So she meets Carmen, and that sends her sort of on a whole new path as she tries to meet Carmen's demands and still get this glowing review from her. And basically along the way, Joan, my character's name is Joan, if I haven't said that, she reawakens to this dormant passion for writing and begins to write the love story that she lost. So, so yeah, and like I said, it was 8 years in the making, and the idea, my husband actually took me on a spa vacation to Vermont to a little luxury resort, and I got a massage by a woman who I was like, I don't think she wants to be here today. Like, I wonder what. I just was like, what am I, her like 8th massage of the day? What is this job like? This is a really physical job.
Yeah.
It's just the two of us in here. I wanted to just pull her aside and ask her everything, sort of like my character Carmen does with Joan.
Yeah.
So the idea just smacked me right in the face, right on this birthday. And my husband also gifted me a journal. And I went back to the place we were staying and started writing the first few pages, and it just was like flying.
Wow.
That's
flying
exciting.
That's a great story.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a good origin story.
It's a great origin story.
I love that it shows, you know, how you can help yourself. I mean, I've always said that writing is my therapy through the keyboard and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it really ties it in, you know, how us writers, you can use that, or anybody can use that through journaling. And, you know, it was really good through that, and it kind of helped her heal a little bit and find another whole thing. But you guys have to figure that out.
Yeah.
So Meg, as you said, your main character is a massage therapist, and she's processing this grief. And when I was reading the story, it was kind of going along, and I understood the story and everything was flowing. And then when you get to the point where you hear about his passing, right? Like, this isn't a surprise. You know, the back of the book says, you know, she's grieving, right?
Yes.
I was so upset by the relationship that happened with his family. And I don't know how much you want to give away, but like, if I can, I just want to read one little quote and say, like, I was so heartbroken for her. Like, you wrote that so well. I was so heartbroken. But I just want to read a piece where your character says, I was statusless, not fiance, not wife, not even an ex-wife. I was the new girlfriend who barely shared a blip of Samuel's life. Like, and she was just heartbroken. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, it was written so beautifully.
Thank you. That is so kind. I wanted to explore a character who, you know, in that first phase of love, where you're just so over the moon with someone and everything seems possible. And at the same time, you haven't necessarily let everyone into the space that you're in, because it is still so new. And maybe you just haven't, you know, you haven't introduced people yet. You haven't even gone through the logistics of that. And then that person that you're experiencing this really high with dies, and you're left holding the bag of all those really thrilling emotions. What is that like? We often hear about like what it's like to lose someone that you've been married to for many years, or you know, just have had a long time to get to know each other. But what happens if you've only just begun and it's going to be really epic? You just know it. But you don't have the status to be, you know, the fiance, you don't have the ring, you don't have the backstory, you don't have the house together, and no one views you.
You're grieving unfulfilled potential.
You are.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what is that like?
You don't have the support. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Meg,
No.
but you don't have the support because people don't see it as a real, you know, like get over it faster, which you cover in the book. And so she doesn't have the support that you normally would maybe have as much. I mean, she's got some, but not, it was really well written with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So I was interested in seeing what that was like, and you know, in our culture of, you know, kind of move on, get over it, what those sort of pressures do to someone when you're sort of like, but it was gonna be so good and now it's gone. So yeah, I was interested in exploring that, and then helping her walk through, you know, how does she move on? How does she get over that?
Yeah, that was amazing. Well, I have
Right.
one more question. So, you're talking to the virgin authors, like our platform is other virgin authors like us, and everyone is at a different stage in their career, right? Some are self-published, some are traditional, some are unpublished, and a variety inside of all those things. So
Some are agented, some are not.
some are agented,
Yeah,
some are
man.
not, but but it hasn't happened yet. We're manifesting that to go. But that's our audience, right? Like people that are excited to hear that you have a debut. Like we're so happy for you that you have a second book already. Like those are our dreams, right?
Yeah.
So
it is.
in your book again, Carmen is this romance author who is working with Joan to get the information about kind of that research for massage therapy. And she really kind of gives her some hard truths quite a bit. And again, like when and again, I'm not giving this away.
No, I was like,
I'm trying to be careful. When Carmen takes the manuscripts, and I don't know if she puts it in her bag or in a backpack, Joan sits there, and I wanted to like jump out of my chair. And I think I even said out loud, like, grab it, get it. Like, oh my God. It was like, so, and it was so like, you did a great job of the writing because I was so in it with her. And as authors, right, we all put so much time and energy and years on these books. And so I'm going to just read again, 2 short quotes, but if you could kind of tailor your comments to other writers like us who have these big dreams. But Carmen had said to Joan, it says, let's see, the first one was Joan. Joan says, it hits me. The difference between me and Carmen or any writer out there isn't talent, it's courage. Mm-hmm. And then Carmen says in a different little spot, she said, don't ask for permission, Joan. Nobody is going to hand you the life you want with a bow on it. You have to take it for yourself. Can you talk about that for other writers and how you kind of came up with those wonderful nuggets for us?
Well, first of all, it is such a pleasure to have my writing read back to me. It's just so surreal. So I'm just grinning. What's really been fascinating about writing Joan is that the process that she goes through and sort of claiming herself as a writer and staking claim to that is something I also went through. I have a journalism background. I run my writing and editing business, but I didn't know or think that I had a fiction book in me. I didn't know that that was going to be my path. And, maybe 8-ish years ago, 9 years ago, I began dabbling with short stories, but even still, I always thought maybe a nonfiction book. I just kept thinking like, who, me? Like I just couldn't give myself permission. I think we're often waiting for someone to kind of come around and like wave the little wand, like you are now a writer.
Yeah.
And I'm still looking. It's not here.
It took me a long time to start to say it to myself and then to start to say it out loud and to say to my friends, to say to people around me, I'm trying to pivot my life. I want to be a novelist. I want to be a fiction writer. I'm going to publish a book. I'm going to get an agent. Not only this book, but many. This is what I want for my life. And it took a really long time to gain the confidence to say that without the validation under it, because I was having a lot of rejection. I had to do a lot of learning around how to write this form. So I was able to really give a lot of what I was going through to Joan, and this idea that it's not up to just other people. Yes, we're waiting for, publishing deals, but also it's taking bum and chair every day, doing the craft and doing the work. And often when I would sort of cry to my husband, like, this is never going to happen. And even still, I mean, the stresses that also come with publishing a book, I'm like crying when I am, I'm crying when I'm not, He's like, remember, you're doing this because you love the form. You love writing. My best days, my best parenting days, I have 2 little ones, a 4 and a 7-year-old. My best parenting days, my best days as a wife, as a person in the world, are when I've written regardless of if anyone's seen that work. So I wanted that to come across in the pages and allow for Joan to begin to tap into that sense in her without having someone else have to say, congratulations, you've arrived. So yeah.
And you know, so there's so much rejection, right? We're waiting for a contest win, we're waiting for an agent, we're waiting for that publisher. Like Jana has talked a lot, like there's all these steps. You know, you're a virgin author at every single step of the way. And there's always way more no's than yeses. And so it's like owning it ourselves, that having that courage to say, I'm a writer, even if that agent or that publisher has not shown up yet for me, right? There's so much rejection in this industry that it can be hard to be like, well, I'm not really that good yet. I'm not really a writer yet because I'm not recognized on Good Morning America.
Wait a while for that one.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think I totally agree. I think I've been doing this longer because I was a columnist before. And I mean, even with a columnist where I lived in a small town and, you know, I still never call myself a writer. It's what you have to tell yourself and be. You have to be the writer. So I think that's really good. I was actually, the one quote that I had, which we didn't write it in the notes, but it was, this is what I've been waiting for, Samuel, her lover that passed, my abundance of rain, because that's basically what the book's title, Super Bloom, is about, which I loved how you segued that into all of it, even to the end, which that was so beautiful.
Can't give away the end.
So touching. Yeah, I can't give it away. But Super Bloom, yeah, so it's the idea of Super Bloom is really amazing. And it was really cool how you tied it in with the whole growth of her and stuff. So I guess just to explain, I had never heard it before this.
Yeah, no, I'd never heard the expression either.
I guess we were just kind of just to fill in the readers because everybody has to read this book. It's
that's so sweet. Well, what's amazing, you know, a super bloom, and what's amazing is this actual super bloom's about to happen in California in a few weeks, just as the book is being published, which is amazing. So
wow.
I know. So a super bloom is basically when in sort of a desert environment, there have been, you know, millions of wildflower seeds that have been lying dormant for years, waiting for the right conditions of rain and soil to come, rain and sun and heat. And then they just explode, and they are, you can see them from space, the amount of wildflowers that are blooming on
I
these
was surprised
sides.
when you said that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I Googled it to look at
Yes.
images.
Yeah, it's insanely beautiful. And the idea for me happens sort of like the reminder for Joan, in that I had a different title. This was, you know, multiple years ago. I was home listening to NPR, and they were like, a super bloom, I think this was 2018 was when the last one happened in California. And they were like, the super bloom is happening in Death Valley. And I was like, what is super bloom?
Yeah.
So I looked it up, saw the images, began to read about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my book title. This is the metaphor for Joan and for so many of us, for myself included, that we all have this dormant potential, you know, waiting, coiled inside of us, waiting for these right conditions to come. And the conditions aren't just, you know, the rain and the heat, but they're also then the courage, you know, the courage to say yes to the opportunity that's about to happen for you. So I was just so struck in that moment, and I changed my title, and it all just began to fit. And I love, and I'm so floored by the fact that California is just poised to have another one in just a few weeks. It's so incredible.
Bizarre. That's so
much that for marketing.
Have you seen it before?
I've never seen one before.
Oh,
I've never seen one, and I don't know if I can get out there in time. I do have to like make sure that we tell people to super bloom responsibly, because I guess last time Instagram influencers, like I guess the traffic, people were trampling over them, people were like getting their photos and like, you know, so like super bloom responsibly, but I
That's
guess
awesome.
it's really
I like that.
incredible.
Hashtag super bloom
Take your
responsible.
water if you're going into the desert.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
So one more question before we maybe get to the lightning round. I was really curious about this as a virgin author. Someday, God willing, I'll be successful enough that I can spend money on a research assistant. But when Carmen first convinces Joan to do this, she says, I'm hiring you to be a research assistant. It's actually a very common practice, believe it or not. So my question is, what level of assistance do you think it's reasonable or even honestly ethical to ask somebody to do for you?
That's a really good question. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. I think when you're in the higher echelons of some of these authors, you know, James Patterson and these people who have just
true.
like an entourage of, you know, talent and support behind you. I think that there are all sorts of levels of support that people are getting. And I imagine that I'll never have that. But I also, as a journalist, I also really love the research aspect. That really is fun for me. The interviewing aspect. I interviewed many body workers and massage therapists who have worked in spas and
I
different
wondered,
settings.
yeah, or if you just got a
Yeah.
lot of massages. Well, I've got to go get a massage.
I'm
Research
sorry, got to write it off.
what to do.
Again, my husband's like, again. So I had to learn a lot about that industry, and that was really fun. And to find out different people's stories, you know, like a real person said, like, a woman hung her wig on my water bottle. Like that was a real story.
It's so bad.
So
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
know,
gross.
like, I don't know what is reasonable, like what is really happening in these different circles and what you can actually ask for. But I think,
We can ask you in 5 years because then maybe
yeah,
we'll
come
know.
back to me in 5 years and I'm going to be like, someone's going to give this podcast interview for me.
That's right.
Oh, no,
Okay,
it's fine.
so-
Yeah.
So now we're going to move
Google's
into
my
the
best
lightning
friend. I'm
round.
a Google girl, so sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
So thank you for talking about your book. And so now to remind everybody, Megan is with the publisher Zibby Books. And for our guests who are Zibby Books, we kind of have a little different format and we're doing this lightning round. And it's not about your book, but it's more about you to help our listeners learn about you and what you like to do and, you know, who you are just as a person and an author. So we're just going to take turns and we're going to ask you a question and go as quick as you want and we'll see where it goes. Okay.
Okay, I'm kind of nervous.
No, don't be nervous. So who is coming with you on book tour?
Oh my gosh. Mostly just me. I wish it was my husband, but he's holding it down because we have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. So I'm kind of solo, which also isn't so bad.
So
You
a
can
little
go for
mini
both.
vacation.
Yeah.
Hey, Gianna, go.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm a big pet person. I had to stuff my dog bed under the desk really quick. So do you have any pets that you write with, or are you just really busy with the kids? Usually it's tough with the pets, but do you write with any pets?
I do. We have a dog. Her name is Evie. She's a cockapoo and she is 8 years old and she's the sweetest. And we have
Aw.
2 cats, Sergio and Tamu, who are also quite sweet, although they're indoor, outdoor. And that's probably good because they'd be climbing all over the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my puppy is.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a 2-parter and you may or may not even remember, but you did say you started with short stories. Do you remember what was your very first story about and how old were you when you wrote it?
Yes, I think I was like 6, and it was about Mr. Pencil meeting Mr. Eraser. And I have like, it's upstairs. Yeah, it's, you know, and I illustrated it very well. No,
That's
it's very
adorable.
sweet.
Love that. Okay, what's your favorite drink? Are you a coffee, tea, or a cocktail?
I love coffee, and I didn't start drinking coffee until the pandemic. And my husband started roasting his own coffee beans as his pandemic hobby. And I was like, that smells and that's annoying. It's loud. And then I took a sip and I was like, oh my gosh. And now I love it. I'm
Oh,
hooked.
that's fun. Yeah, I just had French press for the first time in my life. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like totally different. Okay, so what actor or actress would you want in the movie if this book was made into a movie for like Joan?
Oh my gosh.
Or Carmen's a good one too.
Carmen for me, like, and when I envision her, she's Rhea Perlman, you know, from
Oh,
Cheers, like just like curly hair,
that's
you know,
good.
just,
I never
yeah,
thought of that one.
yeah.
I was more Joan Collins for her when I was reading it for you.
Oh yeah,
I'm more
that's good. Yes.
I love Rhea
Yes.
Perlman.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
I don't.
Yeah, Joan, I go back and forth, and I'm actually blanking on the woman's name who I thought would be great for her, but someone comedic, you know, someone who can do really great comedic timing, but also bring the tears a little.
little.
Yeah.
That's good. Those are good. Rhea's movie, but I love that. Now that you're
Yeah.
saying it, like scarf, you know.
Yes,
Okay.
totally.
All right, let's
Okay,
do.
have you ever written a character that so closely resembles someone you know that you need to discuss it with them?
Oh, that's funny.
Ooh,
Sorry.
that's really interesting. Not yet, but I'm just starting out, you know, so you just never know. You just never know. Not yet, but that could be coming.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
listen, it looks like we're about out of time, Meg. We really appreciate so much you coming on the show and chatting with us. And we're so happy to support this book. And we will, of course, support the next one as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So please
Everybody
tell
buys
us,
your book. It's good. Yeah. Sorry. Go
the
ahead.
best way to support you. How can they get the book?
Oh,
Where
you
should they buy
can
it?
you can order it wherever books are sold. Your local bookstore, Amazon, bookshop.org, all the places. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Meg Tady, Tady. And this has been so fun. Thank you so much for your support of me. And I'm so grateful. And it's in store for all of you. I just know it. I mean, just keep plugging away. Yeah.
Yes, from your words to God's ears.
Or to Zibby's ears.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. I hear that.
Thank
Well,
you
you can
so
join the
much.
Virgin Authors here on Facebook Live on the third Thursday of every month, plus these special Zibby author interviews that we've been doing. And please
Check us out. Come and visit. Reach
how do I
out.
finish this
No.
sentence? Yes, please join us here again, and you can go online and find out when our next interview is. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Have a great night, everyone.
Virgin Authors, remember, Virgin Authors,
Virgin
Yes.
authors.
allowed to make mistakes.
Yes.
Good night.
Thanks,
Bye.
Megan. So much fun.